Alrighty guys, welcome back to another GGF video, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new ROG Kithara gaming headset. Now yes, I said gaming headset, but this is something a little bit different. Now if you were tuned into CES, these were announced then. I think that was less than a month ago now. So they're finally here and we're going to check these out. This isn't going to be a full-blown review. I don't review audio equipment. I don't have the right hardware to do that, but I have tested these. I've opened some of the cables and I've used the headset for a couple of hours last night. I only got this yesterday and I'm launching this in I think another day or two because that's when these are launching. So I haven't had much time to test it, but I've done about 3 to 4 hours of gaming. So I just want to give you my true thoughts, my opinions, things like fitment, things like sound and all of that. But being a gaming headset, these are tuned specifically for gaming, not so much for like music and things like that. Now you may have noticed on the box, this is powered by Hi-Fi Man. We all know Hi-Fi Man, a pretty well established brand in the audio industry, and the driver has been tuned for gaming and developed with Hi-Fi Man for this headset. So it should be pretty good straight off the bat. And then I think the price, if you saw the CES content, the price was pretty good and people were quite skeptical, thinking that, well, even I thought when ROG had a planar magnetic headset, I thought at least $1,000. I actually straight away said $1,500 because I use things like headsets like the Meze Imperium, the Audeze LCD X, and those are very expensive headphones. And then when I saw these, the quality is really good. They sounded good, so I just sort of assumed they're going to be somewhere around that. But I'll talk about the price a little bit later on. In the box, you get warranty information, a bit of a manual there. You do get a sound signature certificate, which I think is good, and it's something a little bit niche. I don't think a lot of headsets do this, especially gaming ones. Probably more high-end ones you would for music, but I think gaming ones are good. Some people picked up when I covered this in my CS content that the sound signature wasn't so good for like music compared to other headphones out there, but I don't think we've really had too many dedicated gaming headsets that are planar magnetic and sort of wide as well for this type of scenario. So yeah, the graph might be a little bit different than what we're used to because they're not sort of designed for music. But in saying that, you can still listen to music. I was listening to music, they sounded fine, but obviously gaming is going to be the priority here. This is all the ways you can connect it. I'm going to go through this myself. Things like removing the ear cushions because you do get 2. Things like attaching the audio plugs because you do get a few for different size devices. Then you get a separate cable for the built-in mic boom, and then you get a straight cable for if you have a separate microphone, which is good that they added both of those. Very nicely packaged. You can see the top layer, the 3 sizes of audio adapters, and then you do get a nifty little USB DAC, something if you don't have good onboard sound or you just want to plug them into a laptop using the USB-C. But I'll take all this out now. So you get a 6.3, something if you got like an external DAC like I have, I can use 6.3, or I can use the 4.4, these are all millimeters, 4.4 millimeter balanced, and then you have your standard 3.5. So while I'm taking all this out, I'll go through some of the main specs. You can just look up this on the website, but I'll just run it through now. They are a wide planar magnetic driver, collaborated with Hi-Fi Man. The driver size is 100 millimeters, so they are pretty beefy. The impedance is 16 ohms. So in saying that, you probably don't need much to drive these. You're going to want clean audio, something like a DAC, but something like traditional standard drivers, something like in a Sennheiser HD800S, they're quite expensive. They're like 300 ohms. So you're going to want a beefy amp to drive a headset like that. The frequency response is 8 Hertz to 55 kilohertz. The microphone is a full band MEMS boom mic, so pretty high quality, and the sensitivity is -36 dB, and the frequency response is 20 Hertz to 20 kilohertz. There's just one last sneaky thing left in the box right down below. These are the extra ear cushions, so you get a leatherette, which is kind of like a PU fake leather, which I think is good because obviously a gaming headset, this could be aimed for a lot of teenagers. You're not going to want to maintain parts like full proper leather because that does take a bit of maintaining. Over time it will age, so you've got to look after them, whereas I think going this route with the leatherette on the side like this is probably the best route to go down. The weight of these are 420 grams. And I did want to mention there's no active noise cancelling. Obviously for gaming, we don't really need that. You're not going to be taking these out jogging, or you could, but they're not designed for that. Now, I did go on the Hi-Fi Man website trying to see what these would be similar to. Now, Hi-Fi Man has a lot of headphones. I went and covered things like the impedance, the response and all that. And the closest I could find were the Ananda Stealth, the version 3. Everything was the same, the impedance, the frequency response, and they retail for about $250 US, and I think they're on sale now. So that gives you a bit of a ballpark to see how much the ROG tax is going to be putting on this, which I'll talk a little bit later on. These will work for all devices: PC, Mac, PlayStation 4, 5, Nintendo Switch, iPad, iOS, Android, everything like that. My primary choice would be PC. Obviously, all the stuff I do is PCs, but obviously your consoles will be next, like PlayStation and all of that. And Xbox, I just noticed, wasn't on my list. And if I look at the little sheet here, it says Xbox console not applicable. Controller can do the 3.5mm for audio only, and the microphone is not supported. So interesting that Xbox, unfortunately, you're going to luck out on these. Now, going through everything, what you get, I'm trying to speeding this up. I don't want these to go 20-30 minutes like they normally do. You get 6.3, which I mentioned, 3.5, your standard one, and your 4.4. Your main cable you're going to want to run, I think, this is if you have an external mic. I have something like a Shure SMD sits beside my monitor. I prefer microphones like that out of the way. I've never been into things like the boom mics that come off your headset. Each cable, this one and the microphone one, is 1.8 meters long, which I think is more than enough. Probably not best if you're using this out like on an airplane or something like that. That's a bit long. But good thing I've liked is that ROG have gone with a universal connector on the headset side. So you have your left and your right. You do need to find where that is. This is the left. And I also like how ROG have clearly noted where the left is inside the ear cup, providing you put the ear cups on the right way, but they would probably only go on the right way. And then we have right inside this one. And they also have it on just on the side there where it rotates around. It has a left there and then a right there. So I do like that. And then there's also on the cable here, because you need to get that right, because if you get that wrong, the polarity, they will be reversed. And then you plug this in like that. So this is a standard connection. So if you do have another pair of headphones that uses 3.5, you can plug them straight in. That's mono for left and right. Away you go. You can use a different cable, but I do feel this is nice and premium. It's like a braided, it feels kind of rubbery, and it looks like it would be tangle free. Now, what is not a standard connection, or it could be, it looks kind of like a mini XLR or something. This is just the way how you adapt all of these adapters to terminate it to your device. So for me, I have a Topping DX7 Pro that has 4.4 or 6.3 on the front. I would use something like this. You get the key, lock it in, and now you can swivel this, and then that's locked in. Feels really nice and premium. It's not coming out. I think this is just a better option than the other type of headphones you can get that comes fixed with, say, a 3.5, and then you have to jam in something else like a 6.3 over the top of it, and it just makes it really bulky. I think this is just a cleaner solution, and it probably maybe sounds a little bit better as well, and you can feel or you can actually hear the locking ring lock that in. So that's a nice touch. I was testing with the 4.4 and then the 6.3, but normally I just use 6.3. I might just undo these and we can get a bit of the fitment on the headphones. So 420 grams, not the heaviest, definitely not the lightest. For me, I have a relatively small head. So in terms of fitment, I have a pretty small head. I have these all the way adjusted down like this. And then when I put them on, make sure I got these right. Now I can feel straight away that it's just slightly resting on the top of my ears, and the band is just on my head. Now when I first put these on, I thought, oh, these feel a bit weird, but I was gaming for a couple of hours last night, 3 to 4 hours. Don't tell my wife I did say I was working. Well, technically I still was, but once they were on, I completely forgot about them. I think having them slightly bigger is better than the clamping force being too tight, because there's nothing worse than gaming for even short times like 20-30 minutes and you take them off and your ears just feel numb. I will say that the area for your ear is quite large. My Meze Imperiums I think are much smaller. They hug my ear and my head much, I'd say much better, but overall, these ones weren't tight. I didn't get sore ears, anything like that at all. Although I wouldn't feel comfortable running with these or doing anything because they are quite loose, but that's just me. Everyone is going to have a different size head, but there's plenty of movement. You can see how much is left. I'm all the way at the bottom and I can go all the way at the top. I can put this one all the way at the top, and if I put these on, these will just look ridiculous because they do slide all the way down. That's how much room I technically have. But yeah, I had these on for a few hours, had a few breaks, and no issues at all. These are open back as well, which I think is probably the best way to go. Let's have a look at the ear cups. I'll take one off. Always hate pulling these off. They're just the ones where you just grab and just pull the little clips off. I don't really think there's any other way to do that. So these ones are the leatherette. You can see around the side, and these are the full velour. Audio will probably be a little bit warmer when it comes to these ones, just the way they're designed. Normally the velour ones give you a bit of a warmer sound. If I can get this in, I always hate putting these back on. There we go. So they are in now, and you can just see the difference in the sides and then the difference there. And then if I put them on, really, I would say the velour feel a little bit stiffer, so they don't feel as loose on this side as it does on this side. So maybe I would switch to the velour just to get it to hug my ears a little bit better. So mentioned the cable. The other areas I do want to cover are the cable you get for running the microphone. So you do have to ditch this cable. So there's really two solutions with this headset. You can run it with an external mic, not using this one, running the supplied dedicated audio cable, using the right connection you want to the device you want, or you can scrap all that and use this second cable, 1.8 meters long. And this one, I really wish these sort of cable ties could come off. You might be able to stretch it and get it over. I'll leave them on for now. They just get in the way a little bit. We get this right. These are key. These will tell you which is, so this one's right. So this will go in like that. This one's left. This will go in like that. And now we can put it on, see how this looks. All right, that feels pretty good. Plenty of movement. I think one next step would be to make this a socketed mic. I don't know if that would affect anything. Then you could just completely disconnect that if you wanted to, but that's just my thought. Then we have a controller. We have a mic mute, if we can get that in focus, which I think is always handy. And then we also have the volume adjustment on there as well. So when you get down to the other end, you're presented with standard headphone jacks. You got your mic, which is the pink, and then you have the green, which is the headset. So if you have a good sound card, sound blaster, I know Zeus used to do a lot of good sound cards back in the day, plug this in the headset, this one into the microphone port, away you go. You are listening or gaming. But if you don't, you can run something like this. They include a little DAC combo unit, USB-C, and then it is labeled here. Headset goes into this one, microphone goes into this one, and then away you go. If you got like a real old school motherboard, even probably a good motherboard with onboard sound, that's pretty decent. I probably wouldn't use this. I'll just stick to using these two straight in the back or on the front. Only thing is, if you have a case that has a combo port, which has the microphone and headphone joined, you won't be able to use this because they did not give you an adapter. You'll need to go in the rear. But if you're running something like a laptop or something and you want to use this USB-C, or you have just an old school audio device, this will probably be better. So it's good that they included that. So that's the only thing you have to decide, whether you want to go with this solution with the mic included with this, or you go with this solution with the nicer cable. You can choose your terminated connector you want, and then you are good to go. You just need an external microphone, which I have, and I always prefer those. I've never liked ones like these. You can hear a lot of feedback. You can hear mouth noises, people eating and stuff like that. Overall, I think they sound pretty good for the price. I actually feel that for gaming, they've been tuned really well. I did notice differences from using my Imperium, Mesa Imperium 2s. Those are definitely designed for music. They're not tuned for gaming. These I could hear footsteps better. Like when it comes to gaming, you don't really care about things, what you listen to in music, stuff like that. You just want to hear the right sounds at the right places, things like gunfire. When I jumped in the helicopter, I could really hear that sound. It was much more vibrant than it normally would be. Gunfire, footsteps, all that, it was really good. Music, they're not too bad, but definitely they are aimed for gaming. And the price we're looking at for these is roughly $359. So they did say $299 up to $359 depending on the region. I'm just going to say $359. I haven't given the exact price, but that could change, so don't quote me on that. But I think $359 isn't too bad. You're getting all of these accessories, you're getting a microphone. There's not too many headsets. I think Audeze do an LCD-X that has a boom mic. There's also the Maxwells from Audeze as well that have the wireless, and that's for console, PC and all that. That's got the microphone as well. But yeah, I think that is it. Let me know what you think about these if you're going to pick these up. I think now ROG finally have a full set of, I would say, high-end peripherals and the audio gear. Like I've got this is the Azoth Extreme. I've had this for a while now. I actually bought this myself. The full carbon fiber adjustable dampening plate on the back. That's a very nice keyboard. I use that as my daily gamer. There's also the Harp Extreme, the full carbon fiber mouse, very, very light. So if I need to do a full ROG setup, I've got the keyboard, the mouse, and now I have the planar magnetic headset as well to match the rest of the gear. But anyway, like always, I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank ROG for sending this out to check out, and we'll see you in the next one.